Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to No Tea with JD, because I don't want to spoil this. This is a quick discussion video about productivity and how you can go about it. Being productive means trying to stay in a continuous state of flow for me, and just get stuff on a list, just jot it down, and just the satisfaction and the momentum that I can gain just from crossing something out is quite the interesting thing. But I want to talk about what happens when it doesn't work. I have several methods and several types of to-do lists that I engage in just to try to remain productive. What does that mean? That means that I have an Excel sheet with with a to-do list. Normally, I use those when when it's a timeline, and I want to organize myself. The most robust organization I can do is there because I can see the flow chart and the days and the time that I want to do stuff, different things. I also use Word documents, and in Word documents, it's just a list of stuff. Not unlike, something like this. The beauty of this is that, you just cross it out. And that little action is super satisfying. I've known to have apps that are to-do lists that just, help you to be more productive. And I also have notes on my phone with to-do stuff. Again, I switch it up so that I don't get bored, or it doesn't become formulaic, or it doesn't become a chore, or it doesn't lose its effectiveness. Sorry, it's been a long day. But still, that's just some of the ways that I do to-do lists. There is a particular way that I do to-do lists that is actually very motivating, and I've done it for the last several years. I don't always do it, but I do it sometimes when I just need myself to, freshen things up. And it is this. If you can see, I've done like an abstract painting with different cells with stuff that I have to do. And as you can see, it's a creative to-do list. And what this is, I don't organize it in a specific order. Sometimes if I want to do an order, I put numbers just to try to organize myself. But here's the thing, and this is actually a real to-do list from last Thursday, and I can show you what I do. Because basically, you just want anything that motivates you to finish. And what motivates you shifts from time to time. Sometimes it's a deadline, sometimes it's time, sometimes it's a visual, sometimes it's a post-it, sometimes it's an alarm clock I've used, like a reminder, like do this by now. I've known to schedule days down to the minute, and that's something that I can do, but at the most 2 days in a row, because after that I feel a bit overwhelmed because everything is timed and whatnot. This is something different, and is actually also kind of relaxing. There's several things that I do to also relax. I hope this doesn't sound too awful. Let me put the microphone. This is so smooth. I'm gonna leave all this audio joy for your enjoyment. Let's put it here. Trying not to leave you deaf. And I do want to stick to the no editing aesthetic of this channel, even though I right now look like a complete and total ass. But this, as I was mentioning, is also kind of relaxing. And sometimes when you have a lot of things to do, like this list, relaxing isn't a bad thing. But when your to-do list becomes more than just a list of actions that you have to do. Sometimes that motivates you, and that sometimes motivates me. This method doesn't always work for me, but it does work often. And again, you have to find stuff that works for you. And being productive, it's all about keeping it fresh, at least for me. Some people can create a habit and stick to that habit for years and years and years and years. For me, I can create habits, but certain things I do have to vary it, because if not, I can either get bored or it's just not effective, which is ridiculous. You're supposed to learn a habit that's good for you. But no, I have to mix it up, because if not, little JD gets bored. And it's part of the game, and it's part of the process. But this is me trying to find out what works for me and discovering what works for me and just giving different things a go. I'm filling out a couple of these cells so that you can have an idea of what the end result is going to look like. And I have kept a lot of these throughout the years. Not exactly sure where they are, but I'm sure that I've kept a couple. While I do this, there's other stuff that you can do if you want to be more productive. So while I fill this out, the next one is identify what's taking up your time. Honestly, people say, oh, I don't have much time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Man, take a day and see what's stealing your time. Because what's stealing our time, sometimes it's that we're just busy, and sometimes we have 20,000 things that we have to do in a day. But other times it's that we're on Twitter or on YouTube or BookTube, or there's an app that has our attention, or there's a game that has our attention. So sometimes it's actually not a bad thing to hide your phone. Nothing bad is gonna probably happen if you hide your phone. By hide, I don't mean hiding it from yourself so effectively that you can't find it. I mean just don't leave it in plain sight, or in your pocket, or in your purse, or anywhere where it's easy to find. Make it harder for you to get to that phone, because the phone, although it's a wonderful invention, the level of distraction that it causes can create havoc in so many ways that that could be its own video. It's a real awful thing. So hide your phone, because that's not a bad thing. And from time to time, if you need to, why don't you delete the apps that take up your time? If it's something that it's a game or something, well, you might have to register it so that you don't lose your progress. Heaven forbid. But turning off notifications or just deleting the app can go a long ways for you to not be as distracted. Turning off your phone is also a wonderful option. But the level of anxiety that causes in some people is crazy. And to me, just, oh, I'm going to turn off the phone. Oh, but what if mom calls? What if I have to do this? What if I have to do that? If it's a real emergency, odds are that there are a couple of ways that people can contact you. And a couple of ways that aren't related to your phone. Or maybe you can put a do not disturb message or an automated message or something. There's also the detail that some people misinterpret emergency with trivial shit that they just want to occupy your time with. If you have to have that conversation with someone, by all means have it. Be rough about it too, because if people can't respect your time, and when you say that do not disturb, sometimes clarifying is a great thing. So okay, you don't want to turn off your notifications, which I highly recommend. You don't want to delete the apps. What else can you do? Schedule app times. You can access X or Y app from this hour to this hour. That's it. If you do it often enough, you'll be amazed at how much discipline you can create and time you'll find. Suddenly you'll have so much time, which is crazy, because all it takes is small modifications. And with small modifications, big changes could come along, and you can do big things. So, as for my to-do list, I will keep filling this out, and if you want to see the end product, I'll post it on Instagram later. My link to the Instagram is down below. But this is kind of how it looks like. It's a mountain and it has trees and whatnot. I can get more intricate. If I have other to-do stuff, I can keep adding to this. There can be another mountain here. There can be like a balloon. But the main thing is just to make it interesting, make it different. And look how long it didn't take me that much, but it took me time just focusing on blotting this out. And yes, I'm talking to the camera, but I'm letting my mind roam, and this is actually pretty relaxing. So, there's so many wins to this. Anyways, those are some tips for me if you want to be more productive. If you have any questions about how I do this, or you want some ideas, you want to bounce some ideas of how you can be more productive, by all means ask. I think it's all about maximizing time. Not prioritizing is one thing, but I've known to squander time like a madman, and then when it's go time, it's go time. I've known to do like 7 hours work in an hour. I've known to do several days worth of work in a morning. And it's all about focus. Focus is the challenge, and the payoff is having more time to do what you want to do. Anyways, if you have any comments, use that sexy comment section down below. If you want to support me, remember that apart from this amazingly lo-fi booktube channel, I am an indie author. I do have 10 books out. Plenty more are on their way. I am doing NaNoWriMo. If you want to look me up in NaNoWriMo, JD Estrada Writer. I keep it simple. Put JD Estrada Writer in Twitter, on Facebook, on Google+, on Instagram, and YouTube, and you're going to find me. So, by all means, if you have any questions, suggestions, or you just want to chat, use that comment section down below. If you want my books, there's also a linky link down below. Until next time. Peace, love, and maki rolls.